Drake has responded to Kendrick Lamar's diss track and fails miserably by telling on himself and admitting the allegations of him being into not of age girls is true. There's also talk about him now involved in X traffic. I mean, guys, this is a mess, and Drake is really scrambling for his footing right now and losing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's investigate this together. So Drake responded to Kendrick calling him a predo, and his first reaction was, "I expected you to say that," which wasn't the own he thought it was, because Drake basically goes on to tell on himself and admit the allegations are true. So let's unpack this verse.
Epstein angle was I expected. I never been with no one underage, but now I understand why that's the angle that you really mess with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested, but that's not the lesson. Clearly there's a deeper message. Only Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never look twice at no teenager.
Wow, his defense was also, "I'm rich, so it's not true." Yikes. So Kendrick and Meet the Grams made no mention of Millie Bobby Brown or the infamous predator Epstein, yet Drake brought up those names in his response, which is quite disturbing because Drake was talking to Millie when she was only 14. Drake was in her DMs telling her how much he missed her. People allege that Drake was grooming her, and it sounds like textbook grooming to me. There's even talk of them hooking up, and she had to sign an NDA. So Drake hanging around girls not of age is a pattern in his career, including Billie Eilish, Kylie Jenner, and SZA. Drake says he never even looked twice at a teenager in this verse, when there's literally viral video of him touching on a 17-year-old girl in front of a audience. So I don't know how he's going to deny that. He actually knew her age after he began to rub against her and even started kissing on her lips after knowing she was 17, then go as far as to make comments about her body, in particular her chest area, and talked about how thick she was for her age. There's also pictures of Drake with Kylie Jenner at 16. So people at Kylie's Sweet 16 party said that Drake was touching her throughout the night and was all over her. Drake also told on himself again on 21 Savage's song Mr. Right Now, where he admitted to dating SZA when she was 17. The age of consent in Canada, where Drake is from in Toronto, is 16, but in California, it is 18. So if Drake was hooking up with SZA in California, which he literally said he was, it could be considered R-wording her if SZA were to press charges, but she didn't. There's also the 16-year-old Instagram model Drake, who is 27, hit up in Toronto, then later rapped about how they got it on and she was like a baby. Or that time he rapped about high school girls looking like pole dancers as he was hanging out in a high school parking lot. There's even a high school basketball player, now a musician, called Little Cece, who went on record to say that she was stalked by him after a match. So again, Drake is not being truthful on this bar because there are just countless examples of him looking at teenagers. So what else is Drake lying about on this bar? In this verse, Drake also brings up Epstein. Epstein is an infamous PDF file, and no, not the kind you open up on a computer, who had an island where he would bring kids to and host parties for his wealthy clients. He flew out on his private jet to interact with these children. What's crazy about that is the client list was never revealed, and that's because high-ranking people are on it. Basically, I think it's pretty obvious, it was a huge cover-up to protect the rich and famous. So Drake's line, quote, "I'm too famous to get caught," was very unsettling and quite frankly disgusting, especially since he brought up Epstein. Drake brings up on his diss track that he planted K-Dot the story of him having an 11-year-old daughter, but offers no proof or receipts that he did plant that story for Kendrick. And get this, Drake calls the people who planted the story of his 11-year-old daughter clowns, but yet admits that his team were the ones who planted it.
The ones that you getting your stories from, they are clowns. We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information.
Yeah, so he just indirectly called himself a clown. But regardless, there was no screenshot or anything proving that Drake did plant this story for Kendrick, and Drake went straight into defense mode on Instagram. So people think he's lying and trying to gaslight the public because the child's mother is 25, meaning she had the baby at 14, which is probably why he would want to keep this all hush-hush. But Drake was defenseless in this diss track. So what did he do? He brought up something very, very, very sensitive about Kendrick, which to me and many others crossed the line. So Kendrick's mom was touched when she was growing up, not Kendrick. But yet Drake implies that Kendrick was the one who was touched by his mom. I mean, talk about spreading misinformation.
My mom came over today and I was like, mother, wait a second. That's that one record where you say you got off. I just made the whole connection. This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. This when your father leave you home alone with no protection, so neglected.
This is something very serious to rap about, and lots of people felt that this was really low of Drake, who portrays himself as like this sort of nice guy.
Drake dropped another song, and in that song, I'm not gonna play it, he makes fun of Kendrick for getting touched as a kid. But that never happened to Kendrick, it happened to Kendrick's mom. So you use what happened to my mom for rap beat? Are you crazy? In the same diss track, he says that he tricked Kendrick into believing that he had an 11-year-old daughter and that Kendrick didn't do any due diligence or didn't do any research or none of that. You didn't do any research on who got a and you used a real happened in a dish. Oh my God, you're going to hell. And I'm not gonna lie, he might be the master manipulator that Kendrick been saying that he was. Whoa, that shit got dark. I don't even have any jokes for y'all. I don't have not one joke to tell. If I'm Kendrick, I'm actually not rapping. Where you at? No, wait, hold on. Where you at? My mother?
So Drake raps earlier in the song how Kendrick falls for fake stories, misinformation, and false narratives. But this whole bar is misinformation since it was not Kendrick who was touched. In fact, Kendrick's album was about how he broke the cycle.
You broke a generational curse. Say thank you, Dad.
Thank you, Daddy.
Anyway, there's a whole lot more information coming out about Drake that might shock you, including multiple women coming forward about their traffic stories about Drake, who was apparently highly involved in this sort of ring. His bodyguard was even put in jail for it, and when his bodyguard was released, Drake gave him a record contract that allegedly paid off the girl to stop pursuing him. Drake also started selling off his US properties around this time. So stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting my face here. And I want to know, what do you guys think about Drake's diss track? Did he win or lose this rap battle?